Hello everyone, this is Arrow, and welcome to the short fic Echoed by You by Straightasacircless. Final part, Chapter 2. Shinso-san! Shinso-san! Hitoshi feels the small creep of a smile onto his face before he can stop it. He turns to meet the eyes of the greenette currently running towards him from down the sidewalk. He earns some looks and glares, but he doesn't seem to mind. Hitoshi snorts when Midoriya trips over his own big high tops and almost sends himself careening forward, just managing to right himself enough to continue running at a steady pace. He skids to a stop in front of Hitoshi, bouncing excitedly and gripping the straps of his horridly bright yellow backpack. Shinso-san! He beams. Hitoshi raises a brow. I told you to drop the san, Midoriya, he chuckles. You're making me feel old. Sorry, habit. The shoulder sweats. Hitoshi simply shrugs and motions for Midoriya to walk alongside him as he begins to make his way down the street. He eagerly does so, unhooking his backpack from one shoulder to twist it in front of him. He unzips the monstrosity and rummages through it. Here, he says, handing Hitoshi a hard, reusable plastic bottle. It's full of a thick, light pink liquid, with small chunks of deep red floating within the pinkish mass. Oh, a smoothie. What's this for? Hitoshi asks, despite already opening it and taking the spoon straw unison. Whoever invented those is a genius, and Hitoshi loves them. For Midoriya to start eating. Drinking? You mentioned that you sometimes don't have the time to eat a full meal, so I made you a smoothie. Midoriya answers easily, taking out his own with a lick of his lips. You like strawberries, right? I used those for yours. Hitoshi had never mentioned liking strawberries, but he knows he doesn't need to. The information will just be there in Midoriya's head without Hitoshi needing to say anything. And it's the exact same way the other way around. Hitoshi knows that Midoriya likes strawberries too, but the mangoes come a close second, and that's most likely the fruit he used for his own, going off by the orange tint. He just knows things he shouldn't. After that incident with the car, he and Midoriya had spent some time trying to figure out what exactly happened. They suddenly knew things they shouldn't know about each other. Hitoshi knows that Midoriya doesn't like wearing headphones or earbuds outside of his home because he doesn't like having one of his senses completely unavailable to him. He knows that Midoriya is scared of the possibility that he might go deaf because of his classmate's quirk. He knows that Midoriya has so much to offer, but so few to offer to. Midoriya knows that Hitoshi hates asking questions because of his quirk. Hitoshi was thrown for a loop when Midoriya had casually mentioned his quirk, without a trace of malice or negativity, but rather with intrigue. He apologized immediately afterwards, saying that he knows the topic is a sore spot for Hitoshi and that it was insensitive of him to bring it up like that. But that's just it, isn't it? Midoriya isn't afraid of his quirk. He mentioned it like it was something amazing, something to be awed by, which, considering Midoriya's quirkless state, Hitoshi can probably understand. He only knows how bad things are for the quirkless because of the incident on the street. He's thankful he at least has a quirk that wards people off. Midoriya doesn't have that option. He's seen as completely powerless and useless in others' eyes. And yet, despite having no ability to defend himself and knowing his quirk, he's still placed with complete trust in Hitoshi. Hitoshi's quirk would allow him to do nearly anything he wanted, and Midoriya wouldn't have any way of fighting back until it's too late. He of all people should be scared. Shinso-san, you need to eat. But he isn't. Hitoshi chuckles, idly sipping on the smoothie in his hands. Midoriya nods approvingly, turning his head to have his own bottle. It went beyond simple lack of fear. Midoriya cares. He cares too much for people he doesn't know. He was fully prepared to get hit by that car when he ran at Hitoshi that day. It's a miracle the boy got away with only scrapes and bruises. Hitoshi thinks as purple orbs drift to rest on bright All Might and Hawk's band-aids covering the back of Midoriya's hands. Are we heading to the park again? Hitoshi asks after a sip, earning an affirmative from the brunette. It had only been a couple of days since the incident. Neither of them want to give the experience a proper name because anything they could come up with would remind them that Hitoshi had nearly got hit by a car, and Midoriya started bawling when Hitoshi suggested the runover incident as a joke. They simply stuck with the incident. Midoriya seemed to find it easier to swallow, admitting he didn't want to even think about the possibility of Hitoshi dying. Hitoshi feels his cheeks warm. He coughs, hunching up his shoulders in a poor attempt to hide what he knows is a pink face from Midoriya. Thankfully, the greenette seems far too entranced with watching a light show someone is putting on with their quirk on the other side of the street. Hitoshi will admit, after simply knowing every small bit about Midoriya, he can't help but feel drawn to the greenette. He knows how kind the boy is, the lengths he's gone for others with no expectation of a reward, and it made Hitoshi feel soft. Honestly, he's probably only feeling like this because Midoriya is the first person to generally stick around after learning of his quirk. It's a small crush fueled by his need for companionship. That's all. Does he want it to stay? Absolutely. It's a nice feeling to have. It's hard to tell if it's more than just a simple crush, considering he knows so much about Midoriya now, and thus has seen what it would take to fall for him. But he's not going to push his luck, especially since there's a low chance that Midoriya returns those feelings. Hitoshi can't tell. He spares a glance over at the distracted Midoriya, feeling a smile grow as the way he sparkles. Hitoshi doesn't think he's a people's person. He likes his secluded life, content with his main sources of human interaction being his dad's and his sister. But he doesn't mind Midoriya being added to that list. He really doesn't. Having someone who just understands in ways his parents and sister can't is nice. Try as they might, Hitoshi is the only one in the family with a quirk that could be seen as villainous. His family doesn't know how that feels, and that's okay. He doesn't mind. They still do everything they can to support him. But Midoriya does understand, and is fully willing to do that too, despite only knowing Hitoshi for 3 days at most. It's different. The greenette must feel Hitoshi's eyes on him because he looks up to make eye contact. He blinks before smiling at Hitoshi, the straw to his smoothie still being held by his lips, as all sparkles and friendly emeralds. Internally, Hitoshi falls to his knees, sobbing. That smile. That was the purest thing he's seen in years. Holy shit. Hitoshi snorts and playfully rolls his eyes, nudging Midoriya's shoulder. The greenette quickly reaches a hand up to grab Hitoshi's arm to balance himself, letting the straw drop from his mouth with a pout. Hey! Making Hitoshi's laugh harder. A few hours later, the two find themselves resting on a grassy ground on a local park close to Hitoshi's school. It's empty, the only constant sound being chittering of the various animals running through the trees and the gentle breeze lulling Hitoshi's mind into a relaxing trance. It's warm, so the two impulsively pulled their shoes off and let their feet rest in the warm water of the pond at the center of the park. It's not something Hitoshi ever imagined he'd take part in. It's so simple yet so odd, but he had no qualms following Midoriya's lead and sinking his toes into the water. The park supposedly had a rule about no touching the water, but no one ever listens to it, and it's never enforced. It's calming. He can practically feel the stress draining from him, traveling down his body to soak out into the water reaching his shins. A soft, subtle tune plays over the speakers of the park, filling Hitoshi's ears and slowing the thoughts in his mind. Midoriya lays next to him, humming along to the music gently. It only helps with furthering Hitoshi's current relaxation. Midoriya has a unique voice for a teen boy, higher-pitched but soft and open. You could tell just by hearing him talk that he's a friendly person. A complete contrast to Hitoshi's near-baritone, venomous and slick. His dad say that Hitoshi should have a baritone voice by the time he's 18. It's funny to him, really. His voice used to be really squeaky when he was younger, then it just got deeper and never stopped. Shinso? Hitoshi blinks, turning his head to look at Midoriya. The greenette is staring at the red and oranges of the sky in the setting sun, hands resting on his torso with his fingers intertwined. His voice came out as a soft murmur, barely loud enough for Hitoshi to hear. Yeah, he responds. You want to be a hero? It's not a question, but Hitoshi makes a soft tone of affirmation anyway. What are you going to do if you find out it's not what you wanted? Oh, it's one of those thoughts. Hitoshi sighs through his nose, turning his head to gaze back into the sky, focusing on a particular cloud that's ever so slowly making its way across the vast space above them. I don't know, he admits. I never really thought about it. I've wanted to be a hero ever since I was, 3. Why the sudden question? Midoriya is silent for a few moments. Because the thought kind of scares me. The admission makes Satoshi turn his head back to Midoriya. He still hasn't looked away from the sky, but his eyes hold an insecurity and fear that Hitoshi understands and has experienced himself. Why does it scare you, Midoriya? Hitoshi asks softly, brows furrowed. His voice is a mere whisper, but Midoriya has no trouble hearing him. Because if it ends up being something I don't want, then... Midoriya pauses and Hitoshi's chest thrums in worry. He wants his friend to speak freely, to get his worries out of his mind, where they plague him and bury him in his insecurity and uncertainty. Then, does that mean I faced all of this for nothing? What do you mean? I mean... Midoriya sighs as he lifts a hand to run his fingers through his curls. I mean that there's a chance I could find out being a hero isn't for me, but that means that all the rejection, everything I've had to deal with from my classmates, it was for nothing. I could be chasing a dream that not only wasn't obtainable from the start, but I really ended up having no interest in the end, and I got hurt for it along the way. Hitoshi can see why the thought is stressing Midoriya out so much. Well, he starts slowly, twiddling his thumbs. If it helps you feel any better, I can't see you as anything but a hero, and that's coming from someone who knows every little detail about you now. The soft, amused huff that blows from Midoriya's nose fills Hitoshi with pride and satisfaction. Besides, I can't say it would be all for nothing. You learn something new about yourself, and there's always chances for different things in life. You like quirks, picking them apart, and it's something you genuinely enjoy, right? So maybe you would help others with their quirks. Hitoshi smiles. What about you? Midoriya asks next, quiet suddenly, turning his head to meet Hitoshi's eyes. Hitoshi pauses at having those bright, intelligent, kind orbs trained on him. He looks away for a moment to gather his thoughts. I'm not sure, he admits. I think I could stand a chance in the music industry, to be honest. A smile gleams on Midoriya's face. I think you'd be a pretty good singer. You play violin too? I can see that working out for you. He says certainly, like he's wholly confident in Hitoshi's ability to do just that. Hitoshi's ears feel warm. Yeah? His voice feels impossibly soft. He can't remember the last time he spoke to someone like this. Thanks for the vote of confidence. If I ever decide showbiz is for me, I'll be sure to bring you with me. Would you really? Midoriya's eyebrows raise. Definitely. Hitoshi nods. You would be my partner in crime. You could put on shows for millions of people and make songs together. You're good with words, and I can vaguely remember you trying piano lessons for a while. Izuku's cheeks flush a soft pink as he nods. It feels so weird to just say things like that, to simply know them. He knows all of Midoriya's little tics and habits that make Midoriya, well, Midoriya. He knows that Midoriya likes to mess with his own pointer finger. He knows that Midoriya snorts when he laughs, but he thinks it's annoying, so he always holds his breath when he feels it bubbling up behind his nose. He knows that Midoriya... He knows all of this, despite Midoriya never telling him. What about dancing? Midoriya asks. Hitoshi cocks a brow. Dancing? He parrots. Yeah, like some live shows usually involve choreography to make them more pleasing to watch, right? Midoriya explains. Hitoshi nods, because he can remember a few instances where he's seen something like that. Yeah. Maybe we could do that. Absolutely fucking not, I've never danced before, Hitoshi mumbles. So? Izuku snorts. Neither have I, but it's not like we have to learn it right now, but it'd be fun. Hitoshi's hesitancy on the idea must show on his face, because Midoriya huffs and sits up, getting to his feet. Hitoshi blinks when Midoriya turns, standing in the water of the pond, holding out a hand to him. The look on his face is kind and welcoming, his hand inviting. Does he? Hitoshi stares at the greenette, seeing the subtle glow of the sunset illuminating his features. The light reflects off those trancing wide eyes. His freckles seem so much more potent. Hitoshi isn't sure why he suddenly realizes that Midoriya's eyelashes are the same shade of green as his hair. But the way the light bounces off them makes Midoriya blink. When Midoriya blinks, might as well drown Hitoshi because he suddenly finds it hard to breathe. A gentle breeze pushes against them, rustling those curly locks that rest atop Midoriya's head. The sun is miles away from Hitoshi, but made of gas and fire that lights up the world around him, but he feels like he's looking at something much brighter. His hand is in Midoriya's before he can even react. Midoriya pulls him to his feet with ease, and now they're both standing in the pond. Hitoshi almost slips on a moss-covered rock at the bottom of it, but Midoriya catches him with ease. He wouldn't have expected were their friendship normal in any way. But he does expect it because he knows Midoriya isn't as weak as he looks. He has some muscle, but prefers to leave his body thin in case classmates take a sudden gain of strength the wrong way. And the feeling of those firm limbs holding Hitoshi up, keeping him from falling forward and taking a face full of dirty water, feels like a blessing. Paired with the soft look Midoriya gives him, Hitoshi is a mere puddle, a drop, among the body of water they are currently standing in. Just for fun, okay? Midoriya near whispers, sending a shiver down Hitoshi's spine. Carefully, he nods. The corners of Midoriya's eyes crinkle. Then he leads Hitoshi into a dance. It doesn't make any sense. They turn and pair away. Midoriya takes a step to the left, Hitoshi takes a step to the right, but they never let go of each other's hands. They twist and step, splashing the water high enough that they're soaking their uniform pants. They don't care. It doesn't make any sense. Midoriya jumps and Hitoshi laughs, but it's fun. They whoop and cheer and cackle. Hitoshi falls to his knees at one point, but he doesn't care. He's back up in an instant, hands tightly secured around Midoriya's waist to lead him into a spin that have them both crying their fun. He can't focus on the now sore knee he's sporting or the fact that his pants are soaking to his thighs. He can only focus on the elevating feeling of spinning mindlessly with Midoriya. No goals, no anxieties, just aimless fun. The feeling is exhilarating, twirling and spinning and laughing and crying. He loves it. A particularly heavy stomp leaves water splashing into his face, but he only laughs, feeling the water droplets hit his face. He leaps, arching through the air. He doesn't care how high he goes. He slips, then he lands. The water splashes and soaks him. He props himself up in his arms, tossing his head back. His eyes meet the warm sky. Yeah, he's right. It's good to just have fun sometimes, whether he wants to be a hero, an analyst, a musician, singer, performer, whatever. He just wants to have fun. Izuku said to have fun. Hitoshi is having fun. Izuku's having fun. He's happy. He doesn't know what he'd do without him. It all feels so easy when he's nearby. He loves being near him. Everything feels right, and he couldn't ask for more. Hey, He pauses. He's alone. But that's not right. No, he's right here. Where? Shinso? Midoriya? Where are you? He stops. He's here. I'm here. Comfort, warmth. You're safe with me. He smiles, his chest warm. His hands lift from their spot in the water and he hugs himself. I'll always keep you safe. Belief, hope, safe, care. He loves it. He loves him. He loves this feeling. It's a silly thing. He only known him for a few days, but ever since the incident, he's felt so connected with him, like it's whatever happened finally physically bonded them. A bright smile, tired eyes, both so affectionate yet so different, holding such love for the one that looks upon them. Love. Does he? I love you too. It feels so simple, but it's so fun, knowing someone this well after just meeting them. I care about you. He tingles. He cares too. He just wants to make him happy, and he can. Ignoring his soaked clothes, he scrambles to the dry ground. He grabs his... Oh, the shoes are too small. He snorts, staring at the two completely opposite pairs of shoes, red high tops and green low tops. His feet are too big. He holds one to each pair against his feet, confirming his thoughts. Too small. Oh well, he's always had a high pain tolerance, no need to worry. He tosses each of the pairs of footwear into the respective backpacks that their owners carried, before grabbing one strap, one each bag, in hand, and hefting the bags up with ease. He breathes in deeply, shaking his head to rid the fluffy mane of the dampness from the pond. He begins his barefoot trek out the park and down the street. The soft tune fades into the distance as the space between him and the park grows. He's got time. His dads don't care how long he's out, so long as he's home before midnight and sends them a heads-up text. He shouldn't worry his mom. He'll text her. Hopefully she isn't upset. Don't worry. How does ice cream sound? If you start skipping, that's their business and theirs alone. Alright everyone, that is the end of Echoed by You. I really love this fic because I'm obsessed with Steven Universe, and this really reminds me of Garnet, and I love it to death so much. I'm seeing now that there's maybe a few more fics for this, so I might read the next part sooner or later. Thank you so much for watching and for listening, and I'll see you all soon. Bye!